All right, it looks like 2:30 has arrived and we're ready to get started. I want to welcome everybody today to our More Than Meets the Eye experience, wherever you're joining us from. It's good to have you here. We do want you to feel free to participate by typing in the chat through our presentation. I see we have someone from Pennsylvania. So if you would like to let us know where you're joining us from, that's great. If you have questions, feel free to type those in, and we'll be sure they're either asked during the presentation or toward the end when we have some time for questions. You're all muted now, but we will give you the opportunity at the end to unmute yourself and ask questions if you'd like to do that way. But again, if you'd like to join the chat, just feel free to type something in. If you're using keyboard commands, you would use Alt-H to join the chat. You'll tab to input your text. You'll type your message, and then you'll hit return. So I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but February is Macular Degeneration Awareness Month. And macular degeneration is the leading cause of vision loss in America. It affects more than 11 million Americans. I find that figure to be pretty staggering. Well, today we're going to put a face on macular degeneration. We're going to hear from one of our clients, and her name is Betty Larson. We've really gotten to know Betty this last year, and I can use a lot of words to describe her. She is kind, she's feisty, she's determined, and we'll let her tell her story now, and you can learn more about Betty.
My name is Betty Larson. I'm a native resident of Racine. I noticed when I was driving more in the evening that I had a little trouble, seeing. So I told the doctor, explained to him, I said, it seems like, there's something that's not right. And he checked and said everything was fine. No matter what the doctor said, I just know that something is going on with my vision. As time went by, it just seemed to get a little more and a little more difficult. And I thought, I'm gonna change and ask for an ophthalmologist rather than the optometrist and really get my eyes checked out, because no matter what the doctor said, I just know that something is going on with my vision. So I did that and ended up seeing Dr. Platt, and he informed me that I had macular degeneration in both eyes. Well, I expected to slow down and have problems when I got older, but my vision is not my matter of choice. Giving up driving has really been difficult, because you give up your freedom, you give up your independence, and you have to start asking for help. And I've always been independent to a fault, and I'm still learning to ask for help for things. I can see shapes, like if you stood in front of me, I see the shape, but your face is a total blank. The other one that really frustrates me is not being able to read things. In the paper, they have all the clubs. So I looked in there and I saw that there was an ad for a low vision group. So I got the phone number and called up, which was a good idea because I was invited to attend their meeting, and I've been going ever since. And I just really enjoy going with them, and they've been kind of something to hold on to, something to look forward to, and know that I'm not alone as far as my vision. And we share what the situation is, and that's the first time I heard about Vision Forward. They had good things to say, how helpful everybody was, and I thought, like I said, well, I'll go up, and take a trip up there and see for myself, go to the store and see what they got. And I came up and got to talking to Mary in the store. One appointment led to another appointment, and by golly, Vision Forward always had somebody here to offer help. Everybody that I've dealt with at Vision Forward has just been A1, and I would certainly recommend anybody that has vision problems to make a phone call to Vision Forward by all means. And I guarantee that whatever kind of problems you might be having, Vision Forward will find a way to help you with your problem.
Well, I love hearing firsthand accounts like Betty's. What I especially like about her story, and I'm a little biased, is that she started her journey in our store. And for so many clients like Betty, that really is a first stop. It's a place to come in. It's non-threatening. It's a place to learn about adaptive aids, but it's also a great place to start making connections with other parts of the agency. And you didn't get to hear Betty describe it, but it's wonderful to hear about specific staff people that she has come to know here at Vision Forward. She got some great cooking help from Rose Visser, who's one of our occupational therapists. And I know that Betty's actual favorite person to talk to was Luke Scriven, who's one of our adaptive technology specialists, who really helped her, like so many seniors, get a handle on what she could do with simple things like a phone or other technology that's out there. So I had told you earlier that macular degeneration affects about 11 million Americans. And Betty told us a little bit about what her experience has been like living with macular degeneration, but it can be different for everyone. So today I'm happy that we're also going to hear from Dr. Heather Hinson, who's on our staff and can tell us a little bit more about what macular degeneration is. Dr. Hinson?
Thank you, Susan. I hope you can hear me, so let me know if you can't. Welcome to More Than Meets the Eye on this beautiful, I hope you guys have had a chance to get outside in this nice warm weather. I have been providing low vision services for the 30 years of my career. The last 20 years have been here at Vision Forward. And I've had the opportunity to provide these services in a variety of different settings. In all of my years of providing low vision rehabilitation services, macular degeneration has been the #1 pathology diagnosis that has resulted in vision loss requiring the need for low vision services. So what is macular degeneration? First of all, macular degeneration is bilateral. It is going to affect both eyes. If you have it, it will be in both eyes. It's asymmetrical, meaning one eye will definitely be more affected than the other. It is unfortunately progressive. There is no cure for macular degeneration. There are treatments that can slow the progression, treatments that can minimize the vision loss, but unfortunately there is no cure. And over time, even with the best treatment, everything done right, macular degeneration does get worse. The risk factors for macular degeneration include age. Just being older is one of those things that puts you at higher risk. Family history. So if you have a grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, brother, or sister who have macular degeneration, you're automatically at increased risk for developing it yourself. Macular degeneration is more prevalent in Caucasians, fair skin, blue eyes, light complexions. Is more common to have macular degeneration than in darker complected people. Being highly nearsighted is another risk factor for developing macular degeneration. And just in case you need another reason to quit smoking, smoking is another one of those risk factors for macular degeneration. There are 2 types of macular degeneration. The most common is dry. It is slowly progressive. It is treated. Now remember, it's not a cure, but the treatment for dry macular degeneration is supplements, vitamin supplements, the antioxidant supplements. The thought behind the supplements and the studies behind the supplements show that they help the body get rid of the waste products that are contributing to the development of atrophy of the retinal nerves. The second type is wet macular degeneration. It's less common, but it causes a very sudden loss of vision. Typically, the loss of vision is more debilitating. It causes a more dense central vision loss. And again, there is not a cure for wet macular degeneration, but there is a treatment. And the treatment now for wet macular degeneration is eye injections. And this has been a game changer over the years. 30 years ago when I first started, if somebody had wet macular degeneration, they might be able to have a laser done, but the surgeons knew that the day after the laser was done, the vision would be worse than the day before. So it was a hard sell to tell somebody, hey, we're going to do a laser to your vision because we want to control the vision loss. And yet the person would wake up the next day and the vision would be worse. With the injections that we have now, the goal is to minimize the vision loss, and it has been very, very effective. So it's like comparing without the injections. If you were looking at a column in the newspaper, the vision loss associated with wet macular degeneration may take out several words in a column in the newspaper. With the injections, you miss a couple of letters. So it's easier to use magnification to look around the vision loss with the presence of injections. But the injections you're committing to every 6 weeks getting an injection into your eyeball, and those injections can go on for years. I've seen patients who have literally gone into their ophthalmologist every 6 weeks and had them stick a needle in their eye. I know that sounds kind of scary, but that's what they do to help maintain their vision. Most patients with dry macular degeneration stay dry. All of the patients, however, that have wet macular degeneration started out as dry. So early detection is the key. What we're watching for when we have a dilated eye exam is to check for progression of the dry and also the development of the wet, the conversion of the dry to the wet. So, and as I said, macular degeneration is a progressive disease. It disrupts the central vision and it makes activities of daily living, or ADLs, more difficult. So the number one goal of somebody who has macular degeneration is to read. Now, reading is a very broad category. Some people want to read the newspaper. Some people want to read the stock market quotes. Some people just want to be able to read labels or directions. Some people want to be able to read the closed captioning on their television. For some people, it's the computer. Some people just want to read the large print Reader's Digest. Some people want to be able to see the cards when they're playing bridge or sheep's head. All of those things kind of get lumped into reading. The challenge that we have with that is, and the reason we ask you to be specific when you come in for low vision services about what it is you want to see, the magnifier or the tool that you might use is going to vary depending upon what it is you want to read. Absolute, the magnifier you're going to use to read the closed captioning on the TV will be different from the magnifier that you will use to read the stock markets. The Vision Forward's job is to introduce the tools, the techniques, let the client get their hands on them, try it out, teach you how to use it. And then it's the client's job to figure out which tool is the one that they'd be most comfortable with. As I mentioned earlier, over the 30 years, I've had an opportunity to practice in various settings. And what is most refreshing about being here at Vision Forward is it's a team approach, okay? It's not just me in a practice with a couple of magnifiers. We have the ability to approach the whole person, not just what amount of magnification is it going to take to help you see what you want to see. It's very comprehensive. We have a social worker on staff to help people adjust to the emotional ramifications of vision loss. We've got an occupational therapist. So not only are they able to train in the use of magnifiers, but they can also help address comorbidities. So if somebody suffers from a stroke or has hand tremors from Parkinson's, the occupational therapist can help learn to use a magnifier, but also how to use the magnifier in the presence of these other comorbidities. We have an orientation and mobility specialist who can help a person maintain their independence and safe travel. And we have a technology department, and it's their job to address digital magnification as well as alternate delivery systems. So you can tap into all the senses. Sometimes it's nice if you're going to use your vision and your magnification to read it, but boy, oh boy, if you could be listening to it while you're reading it, that is a huge benefit. And so that's what we do here at Vision Forward. We kind of get together as a team to try to help a person remain independent. Back to you, Susan.
Thank you, Dr. Hinson. And as Dr. Hinson mentioned, it really is a team approach here at Vision Forward. I love working at Vision Forward just because of the colleagues that I'm able to share my day with. But every team needs a good leader. And our leader is Terry Davis. She's our executive director. And I'm going to turn the floor over to Terry for a few minutes so she can share a few words. And I'm going to invite Terry to unmute herself so we can hear those few words.
There you go. Sorry about that. I
Thank you.
completely forgot. Thanks, Susan, and welcome to everyone throughout the country who's joined us and anyone who's here locally. It's nice to have such a diverse group of people who are committed to learning more about this important topic. And as Susan said, it's a great team here, and I couldn't be prouder to be able to work with Dr. Hinson, Susan, and all the other individuals who make this agency so critical and important. As you heard both Betty and Dr. Hinson share, macular degeneration is a progressive disease. It's going to get worse over time. And in addition to the physical symptoms of the disease, the equally devastating aspects can be the social, the mental, and the emotional impact and toil that has on a person's ability to move forward after a diagnosis. That's why, as we're in this important month, early detection becomes so critical. We really encourage people to see their eye doctor early on, connect with Vision Forward or the agency in your community to find ways to explore and maximize that remaining vision. It's really so crucial. And if you can do that, it's really empowering to individuals. And it also can make a significant difference in their ability to change how they adapt to the vision loss. As Betty mentioned, she was able to connect with several people here at Vision Forward who were so instrumental in helping her at every stage of her vision loss journey. From her eye exam with Dr. Hinson to the assistive technology tools she learned with the low vision occupational therapist, to the emotional support from the support groups and our social worker. And even more importantly, that we oftentimes forget about is our drivers who transport clients. That was something Betty didn't have to worry about. She could get here and not have to be asking for rides or be afraid. We were able to get her to Vision Forward so she could have those important services. To offer the services that Betty received, it takes about $1,000 a year per individual. And when you think about it, that equates to about $83 a month. And that's what it takes to help people with macular degeneration learn to adapt and to move forward and to live the life that they want with this eye disease. Overall, it takes Vision Forward about $3 million a year to meet the needs of everyone who comes to us for help. After our program fees and services, we do have an annual shortfall of about $1.2 million. But we are committed to fundraising and finding ways to continue to bring dollars to our organization so anyone who's looking for services can come and get it regardless of their ability to pay. Unfortunately, vision loss continues to rise throughout the world, and over 65% of our clients are seniors. And we really want those seniors to receive the critical services they need and to know that help's available. But most of all, we want people to know you're not alone in this journey with vision loss. Our entire team is very passionate about helping people at all stages and all ages of vision loss. We work with people to build the skills and confidence so they too can become acclimated to their changing world. It's really our mission in what we do. I want to thank you all for being here today and being part of this life-changing work. And I hope that you'll be able to share this information on macular degeneration with others and direct them to the services they need so that collectively we can all support people who need critical services. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Well, we have just a couple more minutes together. We do want to be respectful of your time, but we also want to give you an opportunity to ask questions of Dr. Hinson or Terry if you wish. So as far as I know, you're now given the ability to unmute. So if you have a question, feel free to unmute and go ahead and ask. And I wonder in the meantime, if people are thinking of questions, Dr. Hinson, you had mentioned that people like to read. And I know as people come in, one person's wanting to read, one thing can be different from what another person wants to read. Can you talk about how the staff kind of creates that individual approach for each client?
Good question, but that could take hours, Susan,
In
because it's very
45
individual.
seconds or less.
We start out by having people give us their goals. What is it you want to read? When they're in the room with me, I do an assessment to try to figure out how much magnification it's going to take to see that size print. Once we have that information, then I send them on to the occupational therapist, and they kind of pull out all the different tools that have that magnification. So there's handheld magnifiers with lights. There's stand magnifiers. It's kind of like a paperweight with and without lights. There's pocket magnifiers. There's electronic or digital magnification. There's spectacle magnification, which is a big part of what I do, because everybody who comes to see me wants that magic pair of glasses that's going to let them do what they used to do the way they used to do it. So it really comes down to what the goals are. And then part of it's trial and error. Part of it is, we kind of have the math done. We know how much magnification it should theoretically take to help a person see something. And then we try it. In fact, Susan just told me today, I sent a patient to her with a recommendation. I want you to go with a +6. This is the power that mathematically should be the right power. And she pulled out the 4, the 5, and the 6, and the patient loved the 5. So part of it is trial and error and letting them get their hands on it. That's what's so important. And having, as Terry was talking about the finances, it's vitally critical for us here to be able to have the tools in working order here so that people can get their hands on it. And we try to have a loaner program. Obviously, we can't loan everything, but whenever possible, we try to loan devices out to people that they then take home. Well, if Mrs. Smith has the only loaner I have, then I can't show it to the person who's here in the office. So, if you're supporting us so that we can have all of those tools available for everybody is really, really important.
Thank you.
Susan, it's Terry.
Yeah.
Terry. I would just like to add that, and it kind of piggybacks on what Dr. Hinson said.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, this is not a one size fits all. I mean, you just heard Dr. Hinson talk about the magnification. The math said this, but the individual preferred this. And that's why it's so important for people to connect early to the therapy, the vision clinic or Vision Forward early on. And even if you don't live here in Milwaukee or Wisconsin, please call our team. They are more than happy to work with you. So don't let that be a barrier about getting access to services. We're doing a number of things virtually, but it's important that everyone's own personal journey is theirs, and we really work hard to meet them where they're at.
Very good. I'll just wait a couple more seconds for a question, and if hearing none, I will go ahead and wrap things up. So if you do have a question, just unmute yourself and chime right in. All right, you may not have been able to think of a question today, but you may leave this time together and think, oh, I should have asked that, or I wonder about this. Feel free to contact us. If you go on vision-forward.org, there's a ton of information there. There's also a general phone number. You call that general phone number, and you'll be directed to the right person who can answer the question for you. I took a call yesterday from a teenager in Milwaukee who's looking for help making her Phy-Ed class accessible. So, we field calls of all different types. And if we can't help you at Vision Forward, we definitely will work with you to put you in contact with the right people in the community who can help. So whenever I leave one of these sessions, I always feel like, okay, what can I do? And what everyone on this call really can do is just help share the news about Vision Forward. There are people in all of our lives, we may not even necessarily know who they are, who are living with vision loss and just don't know where to go for answers. So please spread the word about what we can do, how we could help people, and make sure that those people get in touch with us. We also will be continuing to do these More Than Meets the Eye experiences throughout the year. There will be another one in the spring. It's a nice way to connect people with our agency. So when you get your next invitation, we certainly do invite you to join us again. but feel free to invite friends and family as well so that they can join us. I thank you for the time that you spent with us today. I wish you a warm, happy day and a good spring, and we will see you again. Thank you.